Hi, grade 11s. Today we are going to look at solving simultaneous equations. This term may be looking very difficult or intimidating, but it's nothing to be worried about. You'll see as we do some of the problems. When solving simultaneous equations, you may be given two or more equations to solve simultaneously, meaning you solve those two equations at the same time. Of course, it can be three equations that can be given, but at your level, you'll be given two equations to solve. Let's look at some of the examples. Let us suppose we're given this example. They say solve for x and y simultaneously. If you look here, there's the first equation there and the second equation, both of which have got x and y. There's x there, there's y there, there's x and y there. It means when they say solve for x and y simultaneously, you must find the values of x that will satisfy both of these two equations. Let us say the equation is equation 1. So it's our first equation, and let's say this is our equation 2, is our second equation. So how do we solve this? To solve this, you must always look for the equation that is simpler. Most of the time, it's for you guys, it's a linear equation, because you can see the first one is linear because there's no square or whatever or fractions in the variables, but this one has got squares, so that one is a linear. That is the equation that we may start with. All right, so if you for the examiner, you can tell him and say that we are starting from the first equation. From that one, we've got 3x plus y, which is equal to 8. Then what do you do here? Then you solve for y. Your y value becomes the 8. You take this across, minus 3x. Now your y value is in terms of x, so put that in bracket. So y is 8 minus 3x. So what do we do with that? This thing here, which we got from the first equation, we will substitute in this one. Let's see how we do it. We substitute now, substitute in the second equation, meaning where there is y, we just plug in 8 minus 3x. See, in the second equation, there is the y. So there is the y. Where there is y, we'll place this. So therefore, now I've got 3x squared plus, remember when you substitute, we put the brackets all the time. So it's 8 minus 3x, close the bracket, but it is squared, then is equal to 28. Now we can simplify here. If you look at this equation now, it's got only one variable. So I've got now 3x squared. Now when you're simplifying this, remember that these are two brackets. So it's a plus. The answer when you multiply out the 8 minus 3x with an 8 minus 3x. So it's a bracket. So I'll get, if I multiply out here, I'll get 64. Then I will get a minus a 48x. And then a plus 9x squared, and then which is equal to 28. And then when you look at this thing now, what can I do? I can now remove this bracket here. Let me write here. So I've got 3x squared, then a plus a 64 minus 48x plus 9x squared. Take this across as minus 28 is equal to 0. Now 3x squared plus 9x squared give us a 12x squared. Then a minus 48x, and then 64 minus 28 was that. Take my calculator, 64 minus a 28 equals 36. So I've got 36 as an answer, so this is a plus 36 is equal to 0. Obviously, I can divide it right through this by 12. So if I divide this by 12, I get x squared. Divide this by 12, you get a 4x. A 4x divided by 12, you get a plus 3, which is equal to 0. Now this is a trinomial which is easy to factorize. I can simply put the two brackets equals to 0. So it's x and x, factors of 3. It will be a 1 and a 3. And then it's a minus there and a minus. From here, we can see that x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 3. Now, x is 1, x is equal to 3. Now, what does that mean? They said we must solve for both x and y. We only have x values. Now, remember what we said y was. Y was equals to 8 minus 3x. Therefore, I can substitute that value of x, which is 1. So y is equals to 8 minus 3 times the 1. So y value is equals to 8 minus a 5. So the y value is equals to minus a 3. So y is equals to 5. So when x is 1, y is 5. Let's come to this one. If x is 3, what is the y value? We said y is equals to 8 minus a 3 times the x, which is now 3 times a 3. So I get now y is equals to 8 minus a 9, because minus 3 times 3 is minus 9. So y is equals to minus 1. Meaning when x is 3, y is minus 1. So we can also write this as coordinates. The x value is 1 and the y value is 5. And here, or the x value is 3, then the y value is minus 1. Okay? Let's look at another example. This one here, they say solve for a and b simultaneously. Now you can see this ab is equals to 14, a minus b is equals to a 5. These are two equations. Let's label them again. So that's the first equation, that's the second equation, because they may not label it for you. Label it so that it's easier for you to see where you start and where you substitute. Now, when you look at this equation here, AB is equals to 14. I can solve for A, but the thing is when I solve for A here, if I solve for A here, I'll get AB is equals to 14. If I solve for A, I'll get A is equals to 14 over B. I don't like working with fractions, all right? So I can just ignore this one here. But if I look at this one, if I say A minus B is equals to 5, if I solve here, let's say for A or a B, doesn't matter. If I solve for A, I get A is equals to a 5 plus a B. There is no fraction here. Now it's easier. Okay? But sometimes you can get fractions and you're forced to use that fraction. Alright? Now let's look at this one. Where do we go now? We start from which one that is easier to work with. Is the second one that doesn't have fractions. So from the second equation, I can solve for A or B. So it's A minus B is equal to 5. That is given. I can solve for A or I can solve for B. Let me solve maybe for a B, right? So because I tried A, there was no fraction. There's nothing wrong with that. So if I solve for B, I'll take a to the other side. So I'll have a minus B equals. Now I take the A across. So it's a 5, then minus A. All right, but I need a B. If I need a B, I'll have to divide by negative 1. But divide by negative 1, so I get a B equals. If I divide by negative 1, I get a negative 5. Divide by negative 1 is a positive A. So you can write it like that, but make sure that your answer for B is put in brackets. Even that one, if you use that one, you would have put in bracket. Okay, so we've got this one here. So the B value is a minus a 5 plus A. So what do I do with this? Now I will substitute this thing in which equation? Because I took it from the second equation, I will substitute this in the first equation. You don't take it from the second and substitute in the second. No. I found it from the second equation, see? And then I substitute in the first equation. Then I write here, I substitute in the first equation. You see, there's 2, then I go to the first one. So where there's B, I'll plug in this. So there is my A there. So A, then I times by B. So instead of a B, I put this, which is a minus a 5, then plus A, and the answer is a 14. Now what must I do now? I can remove brackets of this times this is minus a 5A. This times this is a plus A squared, which is equal to 14. What do we do now? We can see there's something squared there. We can rearrange and becomes a quadratic. Therefore, I can say A squared minus 5A. I've just rearranged this. Take this across. It's minus 14, which is equal to 0. Now I can factorize this. two brackets equals 0. So I've got an A and an A. Factors of 14, surely there should be a 7 here or a 2 there, and there'll be a minus and a plus from grade 10 or there. So from here, therefore, we can see that A is equals to 7, or here A is equals to minus 2. Now A is 7, A is minus 2. Note they said we must solve for A and B. We only got the values of A. We need the values of B. How to find the values of B? So to find the values of B, we know that A is 7. Note that we said B was. So we'll substitute in that thing there to find us the value of B. Therefore, B value is equal to a minus a 5, then plus a 7, so my B value is equal to, what is minus 5 plus 7? That's 2. So which means when A is 7, B is 2. Let's put that in bracket. A is 7, so B is 2. Or, so let's come to here. When A is minus 2, what do we do? If I put A as minus 2, B is, so B will be equal to a minus a 5 plus a minus 2. So which means that your B value equals to minus 5 minus 2. So your B value is equal to minus 5 minus 2 is minus 7. Which means when A is minus 2, your B is minus 7. So if I put it as coordinates, so I'll have a minus 2 is to minus a 7. Okay? Now, on your own, you can try these. They can come in different forms, but as time goes on, you'll understand how to do these things. Okay, on your own now, can you, from your grade 11 Siavula textbook, on chapter 2, you just do 2.8. It says they're simultaneous equations. You do exercise 2.9. They are simple equations to solve. Try your best. If you can't factorize a quadratic, remember you still have a formula that I taught you how to use it.